What's up everyone and welcome back to Mystic Korea. I know this video has been a long time coming, but I hope that you guys will enjoy this one today. We are going to be talking about GoFest. So GoFest is only a few weeks away and they have just released some new information this week on what to expect during the second day of GoFest. But this video is going to be aimed at just providing an overview of what I think that you guys should do, or what I personally will be doing, this is just my opinion, what to do in preparation for GoFest. So this is a GoFest prep video. So there are three things that I want you guys to think about when you're prepping for GoFest. The very first one is going to be planning, the second one is going to be prepping, and the third one is going to be prioritizing. So let's start with planning. Planning is going to be focusing on what you are going to do to plan for the event. There's a few different things that you should think about when it comes to this. The very first one is going to be, where are you going to go? The very first day of GoFest is focused on catching. So if we go into the app, you can see in the news information page that there is one specifically for GoFest. This was the first announcement that they made about GoFest. Now this one's really good because it has the basic information about both days. And the very first day is Catch Day, and that's going to be on Saturday. And we have 8 hours for Catch Day from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Now, they're doing something similar to what they did with Kanto. This is my first GoFest, so I don't know about last year's, but Kanto had regions. Each hour was a different region or different gym/city. Now, for GoFest, it's going to be quite similar. Each hour is going to have a different habitat. The very first one is jungle, the second one is desert, the third one is ocean or beach, and then the fourth one is cave. So there are going to be special Pokemon spawning during each of these hours. So it's really important also for you to think about, are you going to go to a place that if you can go to a place that has a lot of Pokestops or a lot of Pokemon spawning, or are you going to be playing from home? And if you decide to play from home, that is definitely going to impact your gameplay quite a bit because you won't be able to move around and catch more Pokemon. And if you don't have any lure or Pokestops at your house, you can't lure. You can only rely on incense. So really think about where you want to go for each of these days. I will probably be going to the same area for both days because the more Pokestops and gyms in an area, usually the more Pokemon that spawn. Parks are another really great place to go. But keep in mind, because of COVID, not everybody can go out and about. If you're lucky enough to be able to, that's awesome. If you're not, be safe. The other thing that I really recommend thinking about is for raids, and I mentioned this just kind of briefly. The second day is raid day. And this one's really important because you have to be either around gyms or you need remote passes. Now, they have gone ahead and told us that they are going to be giving us a ton of raid passes during the event. But my advice here is going to be to save your remote passes for invites, for friends that are going to invite you either before the event starts for you or even after the event ends for you, depending on where you are in the world. For me, I get the event relatively early in the day as compared to people who live in Europe or in the US, so most of my remote passes are probably going to be later at night or maybe even the next day. I will be waiting for those invites and be using my remote passes for those, or trying my best to save them for that, because you really want to go to a place and use your physical passes because remote passes are expensive. And there are definitely some boxes that you can buy in the shop that will allow you to get more of the green passes. But also remember that you are going to be limited on the free passes that you have. They are going to be giving them out, but there's only so much. So that leads us into talking about day number 2, which is raid day. Now they just announced some raid information just this week, and this was a really exciting update for a lot of people, especially for newer players who don't have all of the legendary Pokemon. Pretty much almost every single legendary, I think, is going to be available. I haven't seen anything about like Armored Mewtwo, but it does look like almost every other legendary is going to be available during raid day. Now, raid day is basically similar to Catch Day, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's going to be special Pokemon spawning during each hour: Wind Hour, Lava Hour, Frost Hour, and Thunder Hour. And this is going to be amazing because if you don't have these legendaries, this is your chance. And this is why I say it's really important to plan out where you're going to go, so that way you go to a place that has a lot of gyms that you can just walk around to. And also just to have those raid passes that you need. All right, so the other part of planning that I really want you guys to consider is your kind of physical planning. Besides where you're going to be, what are you going to take with you? My advice is going to be make sure that your phone is fully charged. Make sure that you have your charger with you in case you go into a place where you can charge it. Also, if you carry a backup battery, I have one that I basically charge and then I can plug my phone into at any time and it just charges on the go. It's just a mobile battery charger. If you're going to be out walking around, say in a park or outside, make sure you take some water because it probably will be quite hot. It is getting into summer for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. And one of the other things that I really recommend that you start thinking about now is clearing out your inventory and bag space. And this kind of brings us into the second category that I have that I want to talk to you guys about, which is prep. So prep is going to be focusing on items and Pokemon. When I talk about items, I mean, if you're planning on going really crazy on raid day, make sure that you have revives and potions. I normally get rid of basically everything below max potions, and I try to usually have around 20 to 30 max revives and max potions in my bag at any one time. Now, if you're out and about, you're going to be spinning Pokestops. It's going to be easier for you to get stuff, opening gifts, things like that. But if you are going to be raiding a lot, you are going to be needing a lot of supplies. And that also brings us into the other items. As you can see here, I have no star pieces. Will I be using a star piece during the event? If I have one, maybe. It really just depends on how many things are weather boosted or if there's a boost for Stardust. I don't think they've said anything about that yet. But lucky eggs are a great thing to have because there is going to be an increase in the XP that you can get from raiding. Another really important thing is incense, and incense is super duper important because of two reasons. One, they're going to be increasing the shiny rates for incense Pokemon, and there are special Pokemon that will be attracted to incense during the event. So it's really important that you do have incense on and that you have enough for the whole event. As you can see here, I have 21, and a lot of this has come from referrals. So as you can see on my screen, there are some really great Pokemon that are going to be spawning only according to incense, supposedly. And during each hour, there are different ones. For those of you that are like me and have 0 unknown, this is a great opportunity to fill up that Pokédex and actually get that entry filled in. But there's some other really useful Pokemon, especially for PvP and for raiding and stuff like that. We've got Ludicolo, Chatot, Leafeon, Serperior, Flareon, Tyranitar is going to be spawning in the wild, Flygon, Throh, Gyarados, Vaporeon, Azumarill, Sawk, Gardevoir, Absol, and Galvantula, and Umbreon. So all of these Pokemon are going to be attracted to incense, and there's an increased chance for shinies for Pokemon that are attracted to incense. So this is a really great time to get those shiny Pokemon. I do know on the first day catch day, there's going to be, I think, Shiny Dano is going to be attracted to incense as well. And some other really cool Pokemon. So make sure that you have incense for the event. So besides incense, the other things that you are going to want to think about are going to be lure modules. If you have lure modules, great. If you don't, you might want to consider buying some because they are going to be good for 3 hours during the event. As you can see here, I have a Glacial, I have Mossy, I have Magnetic and Rainy, but I don't have any regular lures, so I may or may not use these. I haven't yet decided. I'm hoping that wherever I end up, other people will be dropping lures, but if you are also trying to get a platinum medal for people catching Pokemon off of a lure, this is going to be an amazing time to do that because people are going to be catching like crazy during this event. So lures are one of the other really important things. And then something else that you guys should be thinking about is that it's going to be half egg hatch distance. So that means if you throw on an egg during the event, the distance is going to be half of what it would normally be. So I think there are probably going to be special Pokemon hatching from eggs, but you know, it's up to you if you're really going to be walking around or if you're just going to be sitting in one spot and catching like crazy, or if you're going to be walking around and hitting up different gyms for different raids. So these are all things that you really need to be prepping and planning for. Now, when it comes to these items, I'm really going to be trying to clear out my bag space. Obviously, as you can see, I'm very full at the moment because I have my weekly Pokeballs that came in. But you know, you really want to kind of prioritize what you need. I think I've said in a previous video, I only try to keep maybe 10 of the different evolution items at one time. And even that seems like a lot to me, because if you think about it, that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 parts of your bag space is taken up by these items. Do you need them? Are you really going to use them all at one time? Are you going to evolve 10 Pokemon with the same one at one time? Probably not. Before GoFest, I may actually take this down to 5, because honestly, whenever there's a special Pokemon that requires an item to evolve and there's an event going on, Niantic has done a great job of giving us these items to evolve them. And they're super easy to get, I think, from doing battles and spinning Pokestops and stuff like that. So I probably will reduce this down to 5 each before GoFest starts. Now, the other thing to think about is berries. As you can tell, I am a little bit of a golden raspberry berry hoarder, and this is going to be great for me during GoFest, because if I see a shiny or if I'm in a raid and I only get a few berries, then I have plenty of berries to fall back on. I definitely think that I'm going to be almost out of these by the end of GoFest, unless I'm just really lucky and get a lot of them. But usually when I find a shiny that I really want, I just throw a golden raspberry on it. So that way it's pretty much a guaranteed catch with an Ultra Ball. Now that also brings us up to Pokeballs. What kind of Pokemon are you going to be catching? Are they going to be the easy ones? Are they going to be the hard ones? What kind of Pokeballs do you need? My advice is, if you have a Go Plus or a Gacha, to have around 100 Pokeballs ready in your bag for that, and then also have it just set so that it spins Pokestops. Now, I have 151 here. 100 to 150 I think is fine. That way, if you're not near any Pokestops or if your bag is full, you should have enough for the Go Plus or the Gacha to keep working. Now, what I am going to be doing, as you can see here, is I have 541 Great Balls and 259 Ultra Balls. I'm slowly going to try and reduce the number of Great Balls that I have and increase the number of Ultra Balls, because Ultra Balls increase your chance of catching Pokemon. Makes it a little bit easier, especially if you're trying to fast catch things. Great Balls and Ultra Balls are great for that. So if you are good at fast catching and that is something you are planning on doing, I really recommend that you try to store up as many Ultra Balls as possible. And now is the time to do it. Don't wait until like 2 or 3 days before the event, because you're not going to be able to get that many. Really try to save them up now. My biggest mistake that I make is, if I see a high CP Pokemon, I automatically just throw an Ultra Ball on it, because it's just so much easier than wasting a regular ball or a Great Ball if it breaks out. Now, I'm going to be trying to just use raspberries and Great Balls and Pokeballs from now on to try and save up these Ultra Balls. I think before Gible Community Day, I had like 500 Ultra Balls, and now I'm down to around 250. So I used up almost all of my Ultra Balls during that event. So these are the things that you really need to think about. You know, making sure that you have enough raid passes. You are going to be getting some, but if you are thinking about buying a box in the shop, I really recommend that you buy one that has the green passes. Now, there's a couple different boxes, and there will be ones during the event, but let's see, do they have it right now? Yeah, so this one here, the Ultra Box, has 16 green passes in it, which is amazing. But you do need to be able to make sure that you can go to a place physically with a lot of gyms during the event. So that's where the planning stage comes in. So that is pretty much it for the planning and the prep. Now, my last one that I want to talk about is prioritizing. There are certain Pokemon that are going to spawn during each hour, and I really recommend that you prioritize which ones you're going to focus on catching on the catch day and which ones you're going to focus on raiding during the raid day. If you already have one legendary Pokemon and you don't have another, go for the one that you don't have yet. Or if you're trying to go for XL candies, make sure that you're going for the one that you need XL candies for. Planning this in advance is really my advice for the best thing that you can do. Now, if we go into news, we can take a look again at what the raid Pokemon are going to be for each day, or well, for raid day. There are going to be some Pokemon in raids on catch day with special costumes and stuff like that, but to be fair, I probably will be saving all of my raid passes for day number 2, which is raid day. So let's take a look. So in Wind Hour, we have Mewtwo, Ho-Oh, Latios, Regigigas, Altered Form Giratina, Cresselia, Virizion, Therian Form Tornadus will be the ones appearing. Now, we've just had Regigigas. Unless you absolutely love Regigigas and you didn't get a good one or you didn't get to rate it, we're having it for basically 2 weeks. Don't waste your time on Regigigas. If you were playing when the Mewtwo event was going on and you have a good Mewtwo, or maybe you want more Mewtwo candy, focus on that one. Ho-Oh, Latios, Altered Form Giratina. Cresselia is one that I do not have, and I will definitely be going for that one during the first hour, during Wind Hour. And then we have Lava Hour, and Lava is going to be Fire-type Pokemon and Ground-type Pokemon. So Moltres, Entei, Regirock, Groudon, Heatran, Reshiram, Terrakion, Therian Form Landorus, and Yveltal. Now, some of these have been pretty recent, at least since I've been playing. The one that I do not have is going to be Reshiram, and I'm going to be focusing on Reshiram. Am I going to necessarily be going to look for Entei or Regirock or Groudon? No, I'm going to be looking for Reshiram. And that also goes for the ones that I'm going to be using my remote passes on. Am I going to go for just any old invite I get? No, I'm going to save my passes and hope that I get invites for some really good raids. And if you're not already in the Discord, I recommend joining the Discord, because we do have a lot of people that share their codes and they invite to raids. So definitely think about joining the Discord, and the link should be in the video description down below. Next up is going to be Frost Hour, which is going to be Ice-type Pokemon, so Articuno, Suicune, Lugia, Regice, Kyogre, Palkia, Kyurem. I hated Kyurem when Kyurem was in raids. Kyurem is notoriously hard to catch, so fair warning to all of you, don't be surprised if they run from you. I had really bad luck with Kyurem. So here, the only one that I don't have is Palkia, so that one is going to be the one that I'm going to focus on in that raid. Also, Uxie, Maspryte, and Azelf will be appearing. They are regional type Pokemon, and they are only going to appear in the regions that they normally appear in. It's either Europe, the Americas, or in Asia. And I think we get Azelf. I don't really remember which one, but I do have all three already. These were in raids either at the beginning of the year, I think at the beginning of the year. And then the last hour that we're going to have for raiding is going to be Thunder Hour. Thunder Hour is going to have electric-type Pokemon. So Zapdos, Raikou, Registeel, Rayquaza, Dialga, Cobalion, Therian Form Thundurus, Zekrom, Xerneas will be appearing here, but there will be no mythical Pokemon in the raids. So for me here, I'm going to be focusing on Dialga, and I think also Zekrom, because I don't have either of those. So those are two of the Pokemon that I'm going to be focusing on. But really, it just depends on what it is that you don't have or what it is that you need. And think about it in those terms. Either you need it for the Pokédex, or you need the candies. If you're level 40 plus, you need those XL candies. If you are a lower level, then just regular candies to level your Pokemon up. So these are the things that you really need to think about when you're prioritizing what Pokemon are you going to be going for. If you see 2 raids right next to each other and there's only 5 minutes left on the timer, which one are you going to go for? Now, if they do it like they did with Kanto Tour, the raids, I believe, are going to change every 30 minutes. So it's not that the Pokemon will be in that gym for an hour. They were only in there for 30 minutes at a time, and then it would switch to a different Pokemon. So think about that as you're prepping for these raids and you're going around. If they do the same thing, then if you're in an area with a lot of different gyms, if you don't get the one that you want in the first hour, then maybe it'll switch, or in the first 30 minutes, then maybe it'll switch again in the second 30 minutes. I can't guarantee that that is how it's going to be, but that's how it was during Kanto Tour. Alright guys, so that is pretty much all the information that I have for you. I know it's a lot of information. I hope you guys are excited for this. I'm just going to summarize real fast the 3 things. The first category is going to be planning where you're going to go, what you're going to need, what you're going to focus on. Prepping, making sure that you have enough Pokemon storage space, and that's going to be something, making sure that you clear out all those old unwanted Pokemon that you don't need anymore, clearing out your item storage space, and also saving up on Pokeballs, saving up on potions and revives for raid day. That's going to be a big thing, because the last thing you want is to not be able to do a raid because you only have like itty bitty Pokemon left. Especially for you lower level players, think about making sure that you have lots of revives and potions, and don't open your gifts until after the event starts and when you need those items. Don't open your gifts before and when you don't really need them as much. Save them so that when you're in a crunch and you need Pokeballs or you need revives or potions, that you can open some gifts and get some quick things that way. And then finally, prioritize what it is that you are going to focus on during the event. Which one? Do you want Entei or do you want Moltres? Do you want Mewtwo or do you want Ho? Or whichever one spawn during each hour. Which ones are you going to prioritize, and why are you prioritizing them? Is it for candy, or is it for shinies, or is it just to get a good one to fill out that Pokédex? Which one do you want? Which one do you need? Also think about which ones are raid relevant and meta relevant, because you don't necessarily need something that's not going to be very useful for you, or you're not going to use it. So if it's a Pokemon that you don't think that you're ever going to use and you just need it for your Pokedex, just catch one. Don't waste your time catching 10 of them if you think it's not going to be something that you're going to use in the future. All right, so I hope you guys are excited as I am. GoFest is only a few weeks away. I am going to be having some more kind of small prep videos involving inventory management and Pokemon management coming up soon before the event. But that's going to be it for today. If you guys liked this video, make sure you let me know by liking it and hitting that little thumbs up button and subscribing. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.